They made a colossal mistake when they crossed me. This is the story of how a greedy HOA turned my quiet ranch life into a battlefield, and how I turned their scheme into a cash-generating triumph. Yes, they fenced off the only road to my property, but they never heard the saying, "Never mess with a Texas rancher." Today, I'm counting cash from my DIY toll booth while the HOA president scrambles to explain why their budget vanished. Where are you watching from? Drop a comment below with your wildest HOA story. I bet it won't top this. I'm Caleb Turner, a 38-year-old tech consultant and lifelong tinkerer, and I have been obsessed with DIY projects since I was a kid. 2 years ago, I bought a 30-acre ranch outside Austin, Texas, chasing a dream of self-sufficient living. The place was a wreck, overgrown fields, a crumbling farmhouse, and a barn one storm away from collapse. But I saw potential. The soil was rich, water rights were secure, and it was far enough from the city for peace yet close enough for supplies. I've always loved building things. As a teen, I'd dismantle gadgets, rebuild them, and occasionally cause minor explosions that drove my parents nuts. Over time, I taught myself coding and electronics, which I used to automate my ranch. My first project was a smart irrigation system that used sensors and weather data to water my crops efficiently, yielding a bumper harvest. Next, I built a solar-powered chicken coop with auto-locking doors to fend off predators. I even rigged a system to text me when my goats were about to give birth. My ranch was my haven, a place to grow food, raise animals, and experiment. Locals visited for eggs and produce, and I rented out land for camping and small events. The road to my ranch, in use for over 50 years, cut through land managed by the Silver Pines HOA, a half-mile from my property. Their neighborhood was a pristine cluster of upscale homes with perfect lawns. I wasn't an HOA member, but I had a recorded easement from the previous owner guaranteeing my right to use the road. This worked fine for 2 years. I got along with neighbors like Henry and Margaret Brooks, an elderly couple who bought my eggs and swapped pies for produce. Life was good, until a certified letter shattered the calm. One Tuesday, after tweaking my goat feeding system, I found a formal HOA notice in my mail. It vaguely mentioned illegal road usage and security enhancements to be voted on at a meeting. The jargon felt deliberately murky, but since it involved my road, I decided to attend. That meeting sparked a 6-month war, and only one side would emerge victorious. The meeting night brought a rare spring thunderstorm. Rain hammered my truck as I drove to the Silver Pines Community Center, my right to this road now in question. My muddy boots left tracks on the polished floor, drawing glares from prim residents. About 20 people sat in neat rows, including Henry, who gave me a worried nod. At the front stood Victor Grayson, the new HOA president, in a slick suit and polished shoes. His fake smile screamed used car salesman. Beside him was Ellen Carter, the HOA manager, clutching her tablet like it held nuclear codes. Victor breezed through routine topics, landscaping, pool upgrades, before dropping the bomb, the branch road issue. He announced plans for Silver Pines Estates, a luxury development to boost property values by 30%. A slick presentation showed mansions and private amenities, but there was one problem: my unsightly ranch, which he claimed drove unwanted traffic. My blood boiled as he unveiled plans for a security gate and fence to control undesirable access, a clear jab at me. I stood, chair scraping loudly. I'm Caleb Turner, owner of that ranch. I have a legal easement guaranteeing my road access. You can't block it without notice. The room went silent. Victor's smile twitched in disdain. Mr. Turner, the HOA controls community roads. Your farm's an eyesore, hurting our values. The boards approved the gate, but you can buy an access card for $3,000 a year. I fired back. This is a recorded easement, not a favor you can vote away. My ranch predates your home's. Victor brushed me off, moving on as if I were irrelevant. After the meeting, a resident, Tom Ellis, whispered a chilling warning: Victor had a history of strong-arming property owners to sell by restricting access, citing code violations, or cutting water. "He wants your land for the development," Tom said. When I asked Victor for easement documents, he dodged, claiming they were under review. I sensed a setup. That night, I called my friend Laura Chin, a real estate attorney. She confirmed my easement was ironclad but warned that fighting it could take months and thousands in legal fees. "Get a certified easement copy tomorrow," she urged. "If they block you, call the sheriff." I barely slept, but by dawn, construction noise jolted me awake. A crew was erecting an 8-foot fence and electronic gate across my road, cutting me off. I confronted them, but they pointed me to the HOA. Within an hour, Victor arrived, smugly waving a supposed permit. "This is HOA land, Mr. Turner. Pay $3,000 for access. Here's a temporary card for 7 days." Ellen handed it over like it pained her. I was livid but took it, swiping to leave my property. At the county registry, I secured my easement copy, dated 1972, clear as day. Laura reviewed it, confirming its validity, but said an injunction could take weeks. "Document everything," she stressed. Back home, the gate stood like a fortress, cameras glaring. Victor taunted. "File your injunction. By the time it's heard, our deal's done." Then it hit me, if they could charge a toll, so could I. I studied my property survey and noticed the HOA's gate encroached 3 feet onto my land, a surveying blunder. Laura confirmed I could control structures on my property. I called my contractor friend, Mike Larson, who verified the error. "They thought you wouldn't notice," he said. We hatched a plan: build my toll booth on my land, next to their gate, using my DIY skills. We worked all weekend, gathering materials and constructing a sturdy booth with a barrier arm, cameras, and a payment system, all solar-powered. Signs read, "Private toll road, $20 per crossing, $100 per monthly pass." By Sunday, it was live. Residents returning from weekend trips were stunned. Cars piled up as I explained. "The road crosses my land here. If the HOA charges for their stretch, I'm charging for mine." Some grumbled, others laughed, but most paid. By afternoon, Ellen spotted the booth and called Victor, who arrived in a rage. "This is illegal," he screamed. I calmly showed my survey. "This is my land, just like you claimed yours. Call the cops if you want." He did, but Officer Daniels, after reviewing my documents, told Victor it was a civil matter. "Take it to court," he said, leaving Victor fuming. The HOA fought back, cutting power. My solar setup kept running, sending inspectors. We met all codes, and trying to reclassify my booth as a business. Laura shut that down. Residents grew furious at paying double tolls, blaming Victor. A local reporter, Emily Hayes, ran a viral story on the toll war, exposing Victor's tactics. My booth became a local attraction, drawing selfie takers and news crews. Then, my cameras caught Victor and 2 men, including his lawyer, vandalizing my booth at 2 a.m. I filed charges, rebuilt stronger, and posted the footage online, adding a sign. "Special fee for Victor Grayson, $1,000 per crossing." The video exploded, humiliating Victor. I dug deeper, uncovering his financial ties to the development company, and a leaked email admitting he planned to force me out. At a tense meeting in Laura's office, Victor boasted about manipulating the HOA board, unaware we were recording. I released everything, emails, footage, and recordings, to residents and Emily. The fallout was swift. Emily's expose went national, and the HOA fired Victor, facing lawsuits and charges. The new board, led by Susan Hayes, removed the gate, recognized my easement, and paid my legal fees. The development collapsed, and the land became a nature preserve. Victor's defamation suit flopped, and he fled town after a plea deal for vandalism. I used the $15,000 from tolls to start a land rights fund and turn my ranch into a community farm hub, hosting classes and markets. Neighbors like Henry and Margaret volunteered, and the HOA reformed. A sign now marks the old gate's site. Never mess with a rancher who builds and fights. What do you think? Was my toll booth genius or petty? Share your thoughts below and tell us about your battles with overreaching HOAs or creative ways you've stood your ground. Let's get this conversation going. Your story might inspire someone else.